First off, just how exciting is it?
You know, it's really exciting because kids have worked extremely hard this season and have a chance to be in a great location and against a quality opponent like Utah, number 19th team in the country right now, and our kids. When we told them, they went nuts. You know, so it just shows you right there what they felt about getting this bowl and where they get to go. And we got a couple guys on our team from California, but most of them haven't been out there, you know, ever or very, very often. So it just kind of creates a whole level of excitement, you know, because they have a chance to go to that spot. And so we're fired up.
How'd you break
Was there
the
a
news
watch
to them?
party or was the team together or what was
Well,
going
we
on?
just had practice, and so we had our guys divided up. We had our older guys lifting weights and getting some conditioning in, and we had our younger guys doing some developmental work in the indoor. So we brought them all together, and both finished up there and gave the announcement to them, and then they went nuts. It was awesome.
It's been the 6th-ranked team you guys have faced this season. Do you think that'll make a difference for mentality going into the game?
I think that anytime you play a great schedule like we play, you know, it allows you to have the confidence to know, hey, we played some awful good football teams this year, and when you play in such a great league like we do, and the toughest division in college football this year, I think that it gives our guys a ton of confidence to know, yeah, it's a great football team we're going to play, but it's just the next really good one.
What do you know about Utah at this point?
Absolutely nothing. I don't know that I've ever seen him play this year. You know, so I know Coach there has done a great job. Every time I've seen him play in the past, you know, very athletic and well-disciplined good football team. But I literally have not seen him play once this season.
Appreciate the honesty.
That's right.
So what is that scouting process like from going to nothing to being prepared for a bowl game?
Well, the nice thing you have is time. You know, so actually as we speak, we're getting the video downloaded, and my laptop will be fully ready to roll. I'm getting ready to head out to recruit here in about an hour. And so I'll have my laptop loaded up, ready to go. We're going to be able to start watching their offense and their special teams and be ready to get going.
How do you lay out your preparation over the next few weeks? You obviously don't want to overwork, but you want to be ready.
Yeah, and the balance is you don't want to you can't start to work on them too soon because you don't want to get stale working on one opponent for week after week after week. So what you basically do is you're going to continue to focus on fundamentals. Right now we're trying to get our guys rested. We had a 10-week stretch there where we had no bye game, no bye weeks. And so that's really, it was a physical and mental grind on our guys. So we're still getting them back from that. We're lifting weights, we're running, we're doing some light football work right now. We'll get us through finals. And once we get through finals, then we'll kind of gear it up and start getting ready for Utah.
Pac-12 is kind of a different brand of football. Is it kind of nice to play an opponent that you might, not see in a non-conference stretch?
Oh, I think so. It's fresh and it's new. Absolutely. It's a team that there's really not going to be a common opponent. There's going to be a whole new challenge. I can't really comment on their scheme because I haven't watched it, but just knowing, they're not going to be run triple option. I know that. They're not going to be in the I formation a whole lot. I kind of know that. But other than that, I think that it's going to be a spread team that's going to have a ton of athletes, and it'll be a great challenge for us.
Is your goal just to make things as routine as possible as they have been all season now as you go through the bowl?
It is. That's why we haven't made a lot of changes at this point. We want our guys to be comfortable with what we're doing, offensively, defensively, and the schedule will be very similar. Obviously it's a little different based on what bowl you go to and what time that you play, timing on the calendar. But as far as our guys and who's coaching what and what we're working with, it'll all be very similar for sure.
In terms of you individually, I guess, how have things changed, from just the regular schedule these past few days?
Well, these past few days has been a whirlwind. So my schedule's changed a lot in terms of just being able to deal with things that head coaches deal with, but also just because of the way things transpired, it's created a pretty crazy last few days. It'll calm down a little bit. I'm really anxious to get back on the road, kind of get a deep breath, when I get on that plane tonight. But at the same time, it's been exciting. Our coaches are just band together, we're locking arms, and we're going to tackle this thing head on.
What was that first practice like as a head coach? Were you nervous, anxious?
I was just excited to get back on the field. I was just ready to go coach football. I think you get on kind of all the other stuff and all the different things you have to do, but it was fun, but at the same time, it felt a little different. And the kids give me a hard time because obviously been focused on defense the whole time, and then when the offense made a good play, they're like, "What are you gonna do, coach?" I said, "Well, got to cheer for them too." But anyways, that was fun, and it was just neat to see them get out there and compete against each other.
What are some of the extra responsibilities you take on? I guess some of them are probably pretty obvious, but just kind of lay out some of the extra things you're doing the last 3 days?
Well, at this point, you're trying to get everybody kind of comfortable with what the direction is. When something like this happens, there's just a lot of questions. Questions on the coaches, questions on their future, and everything. So I think for me, it was a matter of just kind of calming everybody down and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the vision for between now and getting us to the bowl game. And plan it, direct it out. And then obviously then the other things are just the organization of just plan and practice. I'm saying Coach Wilson telling us this is what we're going to do, and we got to go through and set that tone, or how we're going to, the time slots to work on the meal schedule, the different times for tutoring and academics, just all the things that you have to do as the guy in charge. So it's been different, but also been good.
Will you do anything offensively in terms of any input offensively, or you kind of just let things go to the?
No, I'm not going to at this point. I didn't tell him, obviously, to decide if we're going to go for it on fourth down or not. Things like that, I will, but I'm not going to tell him what to do.
Did you reach out to any peers in the industry about any advice for taking over as head coach? Just how to run a and things like that?
I have. I got a lot of close friends, and one in particular has been in a situation similar to this. So talk to him right away and just get their advice. It's always good to get guys' input that have been there in this situation. Have kind of had some, they've been able to learn from things that they would do again or things that they would not do again, and give you their input. So for sure.
Anything in particular? Any one major piece of advice that you wanted to share that they told you?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is don't lose sight of who you are. I'm a guy that coaches with a ton of energy and passion, and I'm a defensive guy. I want to focus on that side of the football, keep that where it needs to be. Make sure the offensive coaches know exactly what we want to be doing, schematically. I don't see a lot of changes in that right now, but it's more about just making sure that you are who you are. Don't feel like you have to change anything. We got to this point by playing really good defense and playing together. And my big challenge was, the other thing was that when you get in this kind of situation, games like this, it becomes an issue of turnovers. And I did clarify, for my own verbiage, so I don't have to do push-ups right now. When I talk about offense, we can use the T word for turnover. Okay, we're talking about the defense. It's a takeaway. Okay? So I had to clarify that with our staff so I wouldn't get called out for push-ups. But seriously, that's something we have to really focus on. And to me, to win this football game, we got to protect the football. We got to score in the red zone. And so those are the kind of things that, talking to the guys that I mentioned, their advice is, hey, address the issues that need to be addressed, be who you are, and go attack this last game and finish off the season strong.
It's only been a couple days, but have there been any kind of staff changes in terms of duties? You mentioned that you guys wanted to internally fill the open.
Yeah, what we did, Sean Watson was a quality control position off the field, and he's been put on the field. He'll be coaching quarterbacks for the bowl game, and then Coach Johns will be coaching the receivers during the bowl game, and he'll be calling the offense. And so other than that, that's the only staff change that we made, and that allows Coach Watson to be on the road recruiting now, and he's allowed to do that. And so that gives us our 9 full positions, and then I would be the 10th guy. So that was one change for sure. A very, very good change in terms of he's a quality guy to slide to that position to do an excellent job.
You mentioned the guys kind of ribbing you when the offense made a good play. Have you found it hard to kind of keep the same intensity that you had as defensive coordinator while taking on the role of head coach?
Well, it's only been one practice, so I don't think it was hard. It's different, and I've been a head coach before, not at this level, but I do think that's a challenge. It's just like even if you're an offensive guy and you're the head coach, you got to be able to understand that it's not just about what the offense does well, it's what the defense also does. So you have to balance that off. But they give me a hard time because usually it was just always, everything I did was just focused on the defense, and so when they made a good play against us, I got to rip the defense, get them motivated and challenged, and then go celebrate with the offense. So that's the different part.
From a personal standpoint, how nice was it to see your son play on Friday night?
It was unbelievable. I can't even put into words. I just so thankful I had that opportunity. Got to have my family down there with us. Obviously playing at a high level game, the semifinals in the state of Florida in Class 7A, and to see them win and go now to the state championship game, which will be in Orlando this next weekend, was a thrill and a memory of a lifetime.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you guys.